All right, welcome back. A new document reveals that Facebook not only was aware of how toxic its platform is for teenage girls and, well, platforms if you think about Instagram, but how they had research on it and didn't act on that research. That is according to the Wall Street Journal. A big tech hearing on protecting kids online happening today up on Capitol Hill. Also talking about how to hold Facebook accountable for all of this. Let's welcome in our guest now. Joining us is the author of Terms of Service, Craig Stanfill. It is a novel about artificial intelligence, but Craig knows a lot too about big tech. Great to have you with us, Craig.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure. I want to talk about the book. It is fiction, but how it relates to all of this. But let's talk about this and what we know about big tech. You know, Facebook knows how damaging its platforms have been for kids. And the only reason they decided not to move ahead with Instagram for kids is because they finally started getting some pressure externally. But talk about how these algorithms work to kind of promote bad behavior on these platforms.
Well, let me first start by talking a little bit about the setting of the book. The novel is set 250 years in the future in a world where these big corporations, monopolies, have been allowed to set their own terms of service. They've been allowed to do as they please. They have no competition. They're allowed to collect all the information they want, and they use artificial intelligence to watch everything you do and then interpret it and use that to control your actions and control what you see, control what you know, and ultimately control what you do. And I think we all know that there's a certain amount of that, maybe a lot of that going on in big tech in the United States and even more in China. And we ought to be aware of what can be done with this technology and what it can do to our lives and what it can do to our freedoms.
You jumped ahead a little bit on me because my question was really kind of about, you know, if we don't address what we're seeing right now, I mean, you look at the novel, it's not hard to imagine that that's, you know, kind of like the reality we're looking at if there isn't a course correction here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Facebook has an ability to create sort of a virtual reality that doesn't exist. A lot of people get a lot of their information about what's going on in the country and the world from Facebook, and they get to choose what that reality is, the algorithms that Zuckerberg has created. And there's no reason to believe that they're giving you a clear picture of what the world is, what's going on in the world. And they also tend to encourage you to hang around in sort of echo chambers where you don't hear from multiple opinions. In fact, they will censor contrary opinions. Mm-hmm. And if people are making their decision based on what they see in Facebook, they're not getting an accurate picture of the world.
It's a great point. And one of the best ways I tell people to combat big tech is to pick up a book, an actual book, and read a book. And this is a great one to do that. Craig, what is something else that might surprise folks about this book and how it relates, even though it's a novel, again, to the realities that we're looking at right now?
I think it points out the dangers of a political system that we are rapidly heading towards. And I created a power structure in this book that is reminiscent of what we have today. You've got technology companies which are allowed to do as they please. The government in this world is pretty much hands-off. They don't really interfere with the companies. And then in this world, there's a big social justice or social conscious movement that bullies the companies into promoting their agenda and punishing anybody who departs from that agenda. And the companies make money, and the social movement gets to control what you do. But the problem is that people aren't very happy in this world because they don't have freedom. They don't get to choose what they don't get to choose what they buy. They don't get to choose what they know. It's all fed to them by the system, and they have little choice.
It is. It's scary. It's pressing, I think, too, as well. And hopefully it doesn't become true, because it's not a world I don't think any of us want to live in. Craig Stanfill, great to see you. The book is available now. It's called Terms of Service, a kind of frightening look at our future. Fiction for now. Let's hope it doesn't become reality. Craig, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, stay with